This Lewis dot structure video will focus on pair D, the covalent molecule silicon 2, fluorine 2, hydrogen 2, and polyatomic ion manganese oxygen 4 with a negative charge. Let's begin with silicon 2, fluorine 2, and hydrogen 2. To draw the Lewis dot structure for this, we have to know the valence electrons. Silicon has 4. Fluorine has 7. And hydrogen has 1. So the total would be 12 valence electrons. You would have to divide this by 2, which would equal 6 pairs that the molecule would have. Now to draw the dots for this, you would have to put fluorine in the middle, and it's going to pair itself up with double bonds, and so it's going to have the remaining atoms on the outer region of fluorine, and then so there's one missing space left for both, so the remaining 2 hydrogen molecules will pair up with fluorine, and then silicon is going to pair up with hydrogen, and it's going to have a remaining 2 on both silicons. And that's how you draw the dot diagram. And to finally draw the bonds, you would have to draw the lines for it. So, since fluorine paired itself up, it would have 2 bonds, with one line on top of each to signify that it had 2 atoms on top, but it didn't share a bond with any other molecule. And so this one is going to bond with hydrogen, since it had already bonded, and this one is going to bond with silicon. Same goes on the other side, and lines on both sides too. And that is how you draw the Lewis dot diagram, with the bonds signifying the bonds. Now for manganese oxygen 4. Manganese has 2 valence electrons. So oxygen has 6. So that would equal 8 valence electrons. Divide that by 2 and you would get 4 pairs. Bonds, you would have to put manganese in the middle. Let's make that smaller. And oxygen on all sides. So, since there are 2 bonds, manganese, so oxygen would be on both sides, and a single atom would complete manganese's empty spaces. And so would be the same on the other side. But since there are 2 more oxygen, it would also be on top. And the single remaining atom on the oxygen would pair up on the other side. But since there are 2 remaining empty spaces, and manganese oxygen 4 is a negative charge, you would put negative sign as a placeholder to pair up with the remaining space for the atom. So the bonded lines are gonna be showed like this. Manganese in the center, lines to show the bonds on each end, and unlike the other molecule, we have to show the dots, especially because of the empty spaces where we're going to put the placeholders. And the placeholders will be in a different color with a symbol in it to show that it is different than the others. So, to end this, we have to put brackets to show that it's shelled and a negative sign to show that it is a negative charge, because we had to put atoms in the empty spaces. And we are going to symbol it with 2 because there are 2 different ions.